Hello. Can you hear me?
So I'm not, who's talking to me?
Alexis.
I'm in my email. I'm just responding to somebody. Give me 1 minute, please.
All right.
Um, oh, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay.
Seems like it's just us. Is there more?
Okay. So I'm just going to jump right in and begin with the most important thing about the speech topics.
Okay.
So welcome to whoever else may be watching Alexis and me.
Right.
But Alexis and me watching me and Alexis. Yeah, that's right, grammar, right? Okay. Gotta make sure the grammar is right. It always has to be right.
Helpful. Yeah.
So for everyone watching, I like to establish where we start when it comes to speech topics because I don't want to be responsible for the topic you choose simply because sometimes when I say to people, oh, that doesn't work, they get all crazy, or you didn't like my topic. So I like to show you what it is that I do or what is done. See, passive voice, what is done, so that you can decide the grade that you want. Because whether it's a class speech or a speech in the real world, it's the same standard. It's just that people are not saying to you, oh, that was an A speech, that was a B speech, but it's the same principle, right? So if you use this guide, believe me, you won't go wrong. So let me find it. I guess we could start there.
One of my questions before you start talking about the
Hold
oral.
on, Alexis. I can hear you, but I need a little. Okay, yes.
Close for my face.
Okay, so why are we hearing the echo today? There was no echo last week. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. The
Yes,
echo
you can
seems to
hear
have
me, but
gone.
I can't hear you. That is not supposed to be. I'm a little disoriented because I was out today and I just realized that I left my phone and I, I was at 3 different places, so I'm not sure where it is. So I'm a little bit scattered right now. So Alexis, are you hearing any echo?
No echo.
Okay, I am hearing an echo though. So let me find out why. Okay. Okay, so the echo has disappeared, so that's good. Now let me just bring up the screen. Oh, I'm sorry. You said you had a question, Alexis?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when it comes to like the process of writing your speech,
Mm-hmm.
is that right now you have to write the research report and the oral speech, and I would like them to be on the same topic.
Okay.
Um, and I found trying to write out the outline before
Mm-hmm.
I had done like to knowing exactly how I'm going to like do the transitions and like what the actual subpoints are going to be without doing like completing the research process first. to do
So
that.
you want to just have a bare bones outline, right? Just to make sure you're on the right track. That's good.
Yeah. So, but it's like, it's not going to be what I probably finally say, because it's probably going to get like revised multiple times.
I don't need it to be whatever it is now. It's not going to stay like that anyway.
Yeah.
But you need to have something to start with. So right now, I just want something.
Okay.
So
I have something like a rough outline of where I'm going with it to like rein in.
Okay, so that's
so I
good.
don't go down too many rabbit holes, because research
So that's
can
good.
definitely be lots of rabbit holes. But
That's
I feel
good.
like it's good to finish the report first, then do the.
No. Here's the thing now. You don't need to finish the report. You actually don't need to finish the report to do it, simply because there isn't any, like the topic is fine, but you don't even have to use whatever slant you take for the report. You don't have to have the exact slant for the presentation. So let's say I wanted to talk about fluorescent bulbs, and I wanted to talk about how fluorescent bulbs are so whatever, energy, the impact. And we would never do a topic like that because that's ordinary, right? But let's say your report was on the impact of fluorescent bulbs. But suppose you decided that you wanted to write about how people started using fluorescent bulbs, then that would be fine. It's the same topic. It just makes it easier for you because you have done some amount of research on it already. So you can use the very same topic of the report, or you can take a different angle with the same big topic, or you don't even have to do anything that's related. It's whatever is easiest for you. Suppose you have an interest in something else, then do the something else. The aim is to get a research report and to have an oral presentation. Link them if you want, don't link them if you don't want.
Okay. Another question I have from doing the reading about how to do reports is, what is colorful speech?
What is what?
Colorful speech. It was something that was mentioned in the textbook.
Colorful?
Yeah, I don't know what it means though.
Are you sure you saw that word? Colorful?
It was in Duffy's textbook, talking about informal and formal report writing. And that was like a style of writing.
Colorful speech?
Yeah. I don't know what that means though.
Okay, so guess what? So I know everything more or less, but I don't think I've ever heard colorful speech.
Great.
Don't worry about that part.
Don't worry about it.
Colorful. Okay.
And then another question that I had
Yes.
in the textbook.
Hi, Benjamin. Forgot to say hi. Thank you for joining.
It recommended learning how to
Hi,
use,
guys.
Hello, some type of desktop publisher, so you learn how to make like really fancy looking.
Okay, now.
reports.
So. Gophy is good for the big picture, right? But we're following that chapter 11 of Bovie. Remember I said that? It's below Gophy. That's what we're following.
Put more weight on Buffy then.
Huh? You need Gophy for the general big picture. But remember I said that the exact report that you're going to be doing is the one from Bovie, which is right below. I can swear by that one. So what you find is that every writer or every book publisher has a little bit of difference,
Yeah.
So I don't want everybody choosing a Gophy here, or maybe I just want everybody to use Bovie, which is why I got only that chapter photocopied, because as far as that's concerned, you can learn persuasive writing, you can do AIDA, you can do Memorize, you can do all of those from any good textbook. But when it comes to the report,
Okay.
I go by Bovie.
Okay. I guess like, because I know for like eventually in the future for making fancy reports in the workplace, I'm probably gonna have to use software to make it look super fancy. And in the Guffey textbook, it recommended 3 different softwares.
Oh, okay.
Because there's like writing a report in Word or like Google Docs, but then there's like making it fancy for when you present it to the world report stuff, which is
Okay.
something that like I'm going to have to do one day. And I was
Okay.
curious,
Okay,
from doing
so
reports, do you use any type of publishing software to make it look all fancy?
I don't, but thank you for saying that, because I know my husband worked in a situation where he and Alberta and everywhere, they always are changed. So I'll guess a little bit more. You've made
Yeah.
me more curious. I'd love to learn a little bit about that, but I've never done
Okay.
anything like that. But that
Okay.
does make sense. Reports are his life.
And like
And
it
it's
has to be
like,
professional looking with all of
yes,
like
and
the imaging and
and
stuff.
he'll, you know, like he'll say this is what he had, and then when he sent it to Alberta, they changed it. And when it went to Montreal, it changed a bit. So a lot of times too, you find, I know for his kind of work, each province seems to have a little differences where, you know, even though they're all, you have to have good sentences, good grammar, all of those things are standard, but there are a lot of other differences.
Yeah.
So it does depend when you get into that world, it, you know, but you need to know that you already have the bare bones and that you can definitely.
Because in the textbook, it recommended Adobe InDesign, which I was like, okay, that's a steep learning curve, but does look super fancy, and I can see why people use it. And then there's something called Quark Express, which is for Macs.
Okay, if I didn't have my glasses on, you'd see my eyes crossing, but right now, I don't even know.
And I guess like within Douglas College, like are there courses for making fancy documents?
Come again?
I know that like at Douglas, like there's courses for become a whiz at Excel and like become a whiz at things like this. And like in the communication department, like is there a course for this is how you make beautiful report documents?
Yes.
And like what software is most popular?
Okay, so like I said,
or expected.
Like I said, I don't even know. Oh, let me say hi to, Andrea, hi. Diane, hi. Christina, hi. Oh, thank you for stopping by, guys. So before I go back to you, Alexis, I have not been remembering to look to the right to say hi. And I want to say thank you, guys. Andrea, you say you're here and learning. Thank you. And Benjamin, I didn't notice that you had said hi too. Thank you. Hi again. I know this name, Viv Dell. Who's that again? I don't know who that is, but thank you, guys. So let me jump back now to Celia. Oh, Celia, hi. Thank you for the shout out. Just saying hi is good enough. Thank you. Okay, so let us start. So let's go back now. We can talk about how about we talk about the report at the end, Alexis?
Sure.
Believe me when I say I'm so confused, because even though you're not hearing the echo, I am hearing the echo in the headphones. So I'm not even, I have to be listening to myself. Okay, so let me pull up. So let me share my screen. And when, Alexis and Benjamin, have you seen this? Did you both have you both seen this? You know, I
did
don't
not
believe
find
this.
that one.
No, I just posted it
No,
and I sent an
me
email
neither.
today.
Okay.
You've never seen this one before. So you know what? This is the
Nope.
second time I have shared my screen with you guys, and what comes out is not what I intended. So I'm going to go to Blackboard and pull it up from Blackboard because I just posted this today.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Viv, Viv, oh, you mean to call yourself Viv Dell? I don't know who Viv Dell is. Viv, thank you, Viv. How's it going? You know, I thought there was something familiar about the Viv Dell. Viv, please tell me you've subscribed to my channel and you're not just my friend outside of YouTube, because we are real friends. So please tell me. Yes, you do. Viv, please tell me you've subscribed. So, so are you guys still able to see my screen? Benjamin, are you seeing my screen?
The bottom half I can see.
That's
Yes,
just
I can see.
odd. Okay, are you seeing criteria used to evaluate speeches? Are you seeing it?
I'm seeing above average speech, grade B.
Okay, let me
but if
stop share.
something's-
Stop share and I'll share again. Let's see if you can see it this time. Share screen. I want you to see this. Can you see this
Yes,
now?
I can see that.
Okay, perfect. So I just posted this today and I sent the email. So you never read the email or you never got the email. Because I'm beginning to think people are not reading my email messages. Apparently I
didn't
sent,
see this email message.
maybe I sent too many. That's possible. Okay, so look at this. What this does is tells you what's an A speech, a B speech, and a C speech. And I like to start with the A speech, because when students say, will this topic work? I like to say, look at the criteria and you decide if it's an A speech. So for the A speech, you have to meet everything right here in this criteria. You have to be able to make a genuine contribution to the knowledge or beliefs of the audience. I'm going to stop right there and say that if you choose to do something like people love to talk about habits now, they like to talk about James Clear's habits, atomic habits. That is not contributing because it is not new. So when you choose, okay, I'm going to talk about meditation, or it relaxes you, it does this, it does that, that is not new. That is contributing to nobody's body of knowledge. So it will never be an A speech. So that's the first thing. It has to contribute. The second thing is that it has to sustain positive interest. While you're talking, people have to be engaged for the speech. And they usually are if it's not something old and stale. So if you talk about, like everybody knows about COVID now, but if you come with an angle about COVID that we've never heard of, or there's very little talk about, that could work. Can you think of what we don't know about COVID yet, guys? What do we not know about COVID yet? Alexis or Benjamin, what do we not yet know about COVID?
The future.
No, I'm not saying we know everything, and I'm just saying, what do we not know? I'm trying to just say that choosing the topic of COVID, why people are working from home because of COVID, we don't need to hear about that because we all know, So what do you not know about COVID, and what do you think you want to know about COVID? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty tired of hearing anything about
Okay,
COVID.
I'm kind of tired too.
It's on the news 24/7.
That's right.
It's
But I'm not saying we can't talk about it. But if we do, it has to contribute to people's knowledge and beliefs. It has to. Another thing is that it has to have elements of vividness and special interest in the use of language. So you have to be you have to be skillful. You can't just, just throw something together. And then it has to be delivered in a fluent, polished manner. Now, I'm less concerned about the polished manner and the vividness when it comes to the oral presentation for this class. For my public speaking class, yes. But for this class, where public speaking is just one part, I'm only looking for 1 and 2, genuine contribution, positive interest and feeling. That's all. Now, if you look at the B speech, most people can fall within the B speech, and it's a B speech, but if you deliver it well, it can end up being an A, right? But you deal with a challenging topic. So it has to be so, like, I'm gonna get back to you, Alex, but your topic actually sounded challenging. It's not.
Our topic is challenging, yeah.
It is challenging. So once it's challenging, you don't even have to even worry about it. All you have to be concerned about now is how you structure it for maximum impact. Benjamin, what was your topic? And Benjamin, you can stay hidden. That's fine.
Okay,
Do
thank you.
What was your topic?
I want to talk about the importance of make a strategy, financial strategy, to help to people to get your goals or her goals.
So in what?
In the short, medium, and long term.
Okay, now that, Benjamin, is not novel.
Okay.
And it is not challenging.
Okay, I will change.
I am not telling you you must change it, but I'm just telling you it will not amount to an A speech because it's not challenging. But let's say, but Benjamin, suppose you only have time for that, then I'll have to accept it. But I want you to know upfront, it's not a challenging topic. And now let me explain to you now. Let me give you an idea of what you can do with a mundane topic. Let me use my experience, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Say, for example, I wanted to talk about dementia. Yeah?
Okay.
Dementia is interesting for me, and it has touched my life because of my father.
Okay.
Now, let's say I decide to talk about just what dementia is and the effects of dementia. That is not new. Matter of fact, no, but I mean, most people don't really know. Okay, let me stop. Dementia and Alzheimer's then. I think people have heard just about, even if you've never stopped to really listen to it enough, most people have heard about it, how it impacts your life, how we all know it's a memory thing, blah, blah, blah. But suppose I wanted to talk about, okay, here's what I don't hear people talking about with dementia. While I was living in Vancouver, I learned my father had dementia, right?
Okay.
And I didn't have any support group that I could turn to here for immigrants who live abroad and have to deal with their parent having dementia. That's what I mean by a different angle. Benjamin, I searched high and low, and everybody was talking about dementia in Canada. Rightly so, we're in Canada.
Okay.
But I needed somebody to help me. I ended up getting a therapist because I had to put my father in a nursing home. And Benjamin, it took me 6 months to do it.
Really?
I was so conflicted because I'm from a culture, you don't do that.
Yes, yes. In Mexico, it's the same.
Exactly. So I had to deal with the guilt. Benjamin, every time I was talking to the therapist, I was in tears, and he's like, what's the problem? Just do it. I said, I can't just do it. And he could not understand. Now, that's what I mean by a different angle. Now, for you guys, I wouldn't give you a speech like that because your audience is also important, right? Most of you are younger than me. So most of you, more than likely, do not have to deal with a parent with dementia, first of all. And then secondly, if you were not immigrants, mainly immigrants, that would not be relevant. So it's another thing about this speech. It also has to be relevant to your audience.
Okay.
So for me, if I ever had to give a speech and I knew there were going to be immigrants and I was told just to talk about something, I would first do a little bit of research. How many of them have parents living back in their home country? And then I would do something on how to deal with, how to cope with the guilt. Because there's a lot of guilt.
Yes.
Because, you know, you're not there, and in a culture where you're supposed to be there, your parent is supposed to live with you. You're not supposed to put your parent in a nursing home. There's so much around there. I was agonizing. I couldn't sleep. Every time I called and I heard that he fell or he went wandering, I couldn't eat. It was just hard. So now that I'm over it, I'm not over the pain, but he died. So I'm not dealing with that anymore. That could be a topic for a speech, depending on the audience.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what I mean. You can have an old enough topic, but a lot of times you have to sit down and brainstorm and do a mind map and try to figure out how to approach it, where it becomes a challenging topic. Now, I would make it challenging because I would be dealing with three things. The guilt, which means I'm going to now do a bit of research on guilt. This is no longer just dementia. It's guilt, one. It's two, being a caretaker from far, because I was my father's caretaker, and it was a nursing home I was talking to every day.
Yeah, it's not you.
Exactly. So that would have made it a very challenging topic, because what I would have put together is a picture of another side of dementia. And I would say, today I'm going to talk to you about the hidden pain of dementia that immigrants feel. I'm going to tell you, one, how to deal with the guilt. Two, how to deal with corresponding with the nursing home or the caregiver. And three, what do you think my third point could be? Anybody, what do you think my third point could be? I never thought about it before we started talking.
Yeah.
But my third, and you have to have 3 points. Maybe my third point could be,
I guess, how society has evolved to not allow us to be able to actually
but
help with family stuff.
Alexis,
that's like a whole topic.
Exactly. and I'm talking, and remember, Alexis, I shaped it to say when you're living abroad and your parent has dementia. So what do you think could be the third thing that could be of concern?
The additional costs.
The what?
The additional costs.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Additional cost.
Yeah.
So you see that, Benjamin, those three things. No, when I shape that, I've gotten a really rich speech, and that would be adding to the body of knowledge, because I am taking from different areas and I'm putting it together, and I'm saying that has the potential to be an A speech. Potential, because it's a more challenging topic.
A really good one.
Thank you, Benjamin. So I want you to take a step back.
Yeah.
And look at your life. Look at what you've done, what you haven't done. No, what you've done, not what you haven't done. What you've done. And it's not something that's going to come to you in a minute, okay?
Yes.
But you need to really think, what have I experienced that is not the run of the mill? Now, you guys, this week, I don't think I've asked you to watch this video yet, but in the video about how to test your speech, I talk about a guy who spoke about SALT, SALT.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm tired of talking about that one. Okay, no, I'm not tired, but every class I have, everybody hears about that guy, because I never before heard such a speech. Can you hold on 1 minute, Benjamin?
Yes, thank you.
Are you guys still looking at this screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm going to stop sharing for 1 minute, because I don't know how What are you seeing? Just me?
Yeah, just faces.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
So, okay, hold on. Hello, Adib. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Okay, Andrea's listening, and she said that the third point would be that the health of the caregiver. I never thought of the health of the caregiver, though. The stress of caring is no easy feat. Very true, very true. So what do you think, guys? Do you think the stress, the third point would be that the health of the caregiver? I never thought of that. But I guess if it's not like a nursing home, but if it's like, as we have in Jamaica, where you have somebody living in the home, then yes, the stress of caring for a loved one, the health of the care, that's actually very true. Because I know for my dad, he had 2 different caregivers, and once one got sick, and can you imagine me in Vancouver not knowing what to do because one caregiver is sick and the other one said she needed a break from him? Because when you have dementia, you're a little bit more challenging. So thank you for that point. Nad JK, thank you. So let me get back now. So Christina, the speech about, remember I said that the report is only work related, but I did say I know I said it twice in 2 different places. I think I wrote it and I think I said it, that when it comes to the speech, you have a choice. It can be either in the workplace or outside of the workplace. But the report, there is no choice. The report has to be about work. But the speech can be work or not work, as long as it fits the criteria for the A or the B or the C speech. So it becomes your choice then. Okay, so I think so I did a little better today. I remembered to look for the comments. Viv said she subscribed. Thank you, Viv. So, hi, Professor. Hello, Adib. Thank you for joining. Okay, so let me get back to, okay, I'm getting better at this, but it still takes me a lot of brain thinking, a little bit of thinking to find out where to go next. Okay, is there anybody on who wants to tell us? Okay, before anybody tells us though, guys, in all honesty, be very clear. Make sure that you've read the criteria. Even if you never saw the email this morning, look at it now. You know why? I want to be able to give you valuable feedback. And if I'm going to be telling you, no, that's A, that's B, or that's C, that's not valuable for you because we have limited time, right? So look back at the outline and make sure you have an A, B, or a C speech so that we can then move on to help you to actually craft it, okay? So I don't want to spend too much time talking about the A, B, or the C. So make sure you're sure of the quality of speech. And like I said, if you say, I'm going to talk about something that's mundane, if you want to, I will accept it as long as you understand the grade you'll get, right? I will accept it. Okay, so who wanted to jump in and talk about their, okay, I see Alexis.
Can you turn on screen sharing?
Can I do what?
Yeah, click your screen sharing button and you should be able to make it.
No, what did you ask me?
Can you make it so that I can share a screen?
Yes, you should be able to. Hold on. Multiple participants, you should be able to know, yes.
Now I can.
Oh, I discovered that yesterday.
Learning.
Okay.
All right. This is more of like a draft outline, but like I still have to do more of the research because I just done like surface level. My topic that I've chosen is NFTs.
So here's what I have to say to you now, Alexis.
Mm-hmm.
We are your audience, right?
Yeah.
So I think as long as you understand that from the very start, you're going to have to make it relatable to us, that we understand what this is.
The topic's going to be non-fungible tokens, and the purpose is to inform.
Right. So hold on. Are you coming to us from an angle, assuming that we've never heard about this before, which is fine?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's like so new that it's evolved dramatically in like the last 6 months, and it's been.
Wow.
It's been.
But is there enough research? Is there enough research?
It's one of those things that it's been developing for 10 years, but the last 2 weeks it's been exploding in the music industry.
That is hot.
It's revolution. Like, it's so revolutionary that like it's going to be a huge disruptor, but it's going to actually be for the benefit of artists so that they actually get paid.
How are you going to grab our attention to make us curious? And remember that, to make us curious.
My idea was to start with telling a story of the female.
You need a story. This sounds like you need a story for sure.
Female Canadian artist Grimes, and how.
Now, guess what?
Successful she's been.
So no, it has to actually be a story. And I'm saying that, Alex, because sometimes students just say, so, and they tell you a one sentence, and that's not a story. So this week, I'm also going to be leading you in that, so that I get real stories that have a hero, a problem, a challenge that needs to be overcome, a bit of conflict, and that can be in 3 sentences. Trust me. So hero plus a challenge plus the conflict plus the struggle, because you have to figure out what to do, and then the resolution.
Right.
Perfect.
Then.
So next week when we do this again, I want to hear the story, because maybe you don't have it yet, right?
Yeah, I have like the concept I have to craft.
Okay, so your relevance is that so why is your relevance statement that's your credibility.
This is what was in your outline.
No. I thought you turned it around. Okay, yeah. 13 years experience, perfect.
Yeah, so yeah, I have experience in the industry, and like.
So how is it relevant to us? Because it's us, right? How is it relevant to us?
Because they're essentially, like, COVID has disrupted many of the industries, and there's now like the NFT thing is something that is similar to when the internet first started. Like, no one really understood how it was going to take off.
Okay, I still haven't heard why is it relevant to me. Tell me why it's relevant to Tanya.
Final point. My final point is, if you're a struggling artist.
Okay, so that is not
how you can get paid.
So that is not number 5. That's actually not number 5. The relevant statement is when you tell me how it's relevant to my life, right? And then when you do your preview, that's when you're going to say something like, so today I'm going to talk to you about, and you tell us a big topic, and then you tell us the 3 things you're going to tell us about the topic. So today I'm going to talk to you about how dementia affects immigrants who are not able to care for their parents near. I'm going to tell you the impact on the guilt that the immigrant has to deal with. I'm going to tell you the B, and I'm going to tell you the C, right? So the relevant statement is, why should I listen to you? What's in it for me? WIIFM. Because until you do that, you're going to have your audience members just waiting. And your goal is to get them to lean in and think, what? Really? Okay. So think of that, what I just did, that body motion. And unfortunately, that's what happens when people listen. They're just waiting. Oh God. Once you start to talk to them and it becomes relevant to them, they start to listen. When you're finished, Alexis, I want to pull up that little part of Chris Anderson's speech where he talks about what happens in the brain, because that's very important to understanding what it is that makes people listen. And I know you are the TED Talk person, so you know.
I put mics on people.
But the reason that people listen, it's because they see it's an idea that's relevant, right? So until you make it relevant. So, right, Chris Anderson. You know, the picture he has where he talks about the girl, the woman who was there and she was transferring her idea into people's heads. And he showed you that picture of what was happening in the brain. When you take this down, I'll just pull it up for others to see. That's your aim, to get that to happen in the brain and for people to say, yeah, I know that. I want that applies to my life.
So
but you know what? You have an excellent start here. I mean, I looked
like the history part. Is that something that I should?
Where is the history? Like, where's that?
That was like the relevancy of like, this is the problem.
No, relevance is just relevant to us. I don't start with a brief history of how music artists get paid. That's not what relevance means. If you want to do the history, maybe you can do that in the body, right? But
so here I should just, so basically like the relevancy and the revealing of the topic can do the same thing.
Pardon? Relevance and what?
Like the relevancy and the topic can be the same thing.
No, the topic is your actual, that part where you say, today I'm going to talk to you about, and you have to announce it, right? Okay. That's the fifth thing. That's the fifth thing. Okay, so go back to the top. Let's start again from the top. Let me see what you read. Okay.
So
go further up. Okay, so introduction and the topic. So when I say you don't, just so that everybody understands, let's say Alexis started with a story and then she said, so so I'm going to now tell you about, what's the word? What tokens?
NFTs.
You would never say that because that's what we call announcing. Now you don't announce until the end.
Yeah.
But let's say you were talking and in the story and you said something like, and when and she really liked it because of these, what tokens? Non-fungible tokens, blah, 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 blah. You've already introduced it because you've used the word. So that's what we mean. Where make it a part of the speech without saying, this is the topic. So don't announce it as your topic until number 5, when you say, so today I'm going to talk to you about, did you watch my speech on friendship?
Yes.
So I started with a story, right? And then I said, I didn't know if we would be friends forever. That's introducing the topic, right? And at the very end, I said, so today I'm going to talk to you about that. Is when you announce it. So your number 1 and 2 are fine. And then your number 3 is fine because you say you have 13 years. And remember now, all of this has to flow. You're not supposed to, right? It's not supposed to sound like it's different sentences. Relevance now is why it's important to us. Why should we listen? That doesn't seem to be there. And then number 5, reveal your topic, which is usually 1 or 2 sentences, where you tell us your big picture and tell us the 3 things you're going to talk to us about. So you're going to say something like, so today I am going to talk to you about blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to tell you 1, 2, 3. Okay. And it sounds like 2 sentences, but it can be 1 sentence. And that's it. So so you now need to decide on what your 3 body points are so that I can give you more feedback. Step 1, how to get, I want to see your entire thesis first. So I'm going to get back to you, Alexis,
Okay.
because right now I can't tell you if what you have in your body makes sense until I know what you want to, what your thesis is. Oh, is this, oh, non-fungible tokens are providing. Is that what you're going to say to us? Today I'm going to talk to you about why non-fungible tokens are provided. Is that what you want to tell us? Why?
Yeah, and then explain how.
Okay, first, let me see how you're going to make it relevant. I want to see that. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. I'm going to then go back to you. So 2 things I need from you when we come back. The relevance to us, 1, and 2, what did I say? The relevance and the thesis statement. I want to tighten those 2. The first part is fine.
Okay.
So thank you, Alexis. Benjamin, are you ready to go? Do you want to go?
Sorry. Hey, hello.
Benjamin,
Yeah.
are you ready to go? You can say no. No pressure.
Because I need to.
Okay, so hold on a minute, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so Raphael's hand is up. Okay, Raphael. So unmute.
Hi, Professor.
Hi there. Do you
Hi,
want to share the screen?
Yes, I can share my screen, but I also pasted my link. If you want, I can share my screen. Share screen. Share. There you go. So I live in Excel, so unfortunately my layout is
My God.
So I broke down the steps for the research, and the initial step was
okay, hold on. We're
Sure.
only doing the report, right? We're only doing the oral presentation right now.
Oh shit. So for
Okay.
the oral, okay, I'm not. For the oral, I only have my introduction. I don't have the rest yet.
Introduction is good. Let's see your introduction.
Okay. So my introduction goes as, what if I told you that after today?
Okay. Hold
Yes.
on. Tell me your topic first. This so
Sure. The topic is money management and why most people need to be better at it.
Huh. And you're not gonna come with the usual, right? We're not gonna hear. Okay, go on, because your start immediately made me want to hear some more. So let's go. Let's hear.
Yeah. So what if I told you that after today I can help your relationships last longer and even help you reach contentment? How am I going to do that? Well, let's talk about money, not in the material sense, but as a vessel for peace of mind. But wait, why should you listen? Why should you listen to me? Well, I'm a trained accountant and money is literally my profession. Stick with me for the next 10 minutes and I guarantee that you will experience a mind shift at the end. I will talk to you about the 3 factors that influence our concept about money: the school system, the capitalist system, and the class system.
Guys, what do you think?
I think it sounds good so far. I was a little worried at first. I thought it was going to be like a multi-level marketing scam. Like, what do you need me to buy? But I think it's a good setup.
It's really a good setup. Now, do you think it would spark anything in your brain if you did this? Because I think it would make me, whoa. I think I would lean in and I would listen a little bit more. Today I'm going to talk to you about our concept. I think this could work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling it. So you relevance. The only thing is I see your credibility, and I tend to prefer when people stay away from that kind of, and why should you listen to me? I don't want it to sound like you're, when it's said like that, it comes across like you're following us a line, a structure here. Okay, so why is it relevant to you? And a lot of times students do that. I never want to hear the word relevant in your speech. Why is it relevant to you? Now, where is the relevance to us though? Have you mentioned why it's relevant to us without saying it is relevant to you? Where have you put that?
So in the beginning, I'm sorry?
No, because there are 5 things you have to do in the intro, right?
Yeah.
And I must tell you that your introduction needs a little bit more. It's a great start, but I need a little bit more to fully grasp our attention. And is the second section considered the introduction of the topic? I usually tell students that your attention grabber needs to be at least 20 seconds. So what if I told you today, what if I told you that after today, I can help your relationships last longer, and it's too short. Yes, you need an introduction that takes into account anybody and that it pulls us in a little bit more. So this is too brief. It's a good start, but you need to add something to it, right?
Yeah.
And then take out where you actually say, how am I going to do that? Because that's too, it's too, it's
pyramid
too,
scheme.
it's too something. Yeah, it's too, yeah. So what I would appreciate is if you did something like that, something like, what if I told you that after today, I can help your religion last longer than even this, and that's, and here's the thing. Let's talk about money, not in the material sense, but rather, to make it more conversational and less, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And then after you say that, you say, no, I've been an accountant, a trained accountant for usually people are even more impressed when you give years. Don't just say I'm a trained accountant.
For 1 semester.
Oh, so let's just keep it a trained accountant then. So how are you a trained accountant? Because my husband has been a trained accountant for the last 40 odd years. How are you trained if it's only 1 semester? And he certainly did not take 1 semester.
I was taking liberties for the research and the oral presentation.
Oh, for the oral presentation. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't stretch it anymore. Just leave it at that then. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a trained accountant and it's literally my profession. Now, at that point, you need to put in, why is it relevant to us? So maybe you could say something like, now I know many of you here may not be accountants like me, but we all have to deal with money. You deal with money when you you need to know this, and you need to Whenever you're talking about the relevance to people's lives, don't ever just say one thing. Think about the average person. So I think our class has a lot of millennials, right? So you may be a millennial now, but eventually you're going to want to own your own home. Or you may be middle-aged like Tanya, and you want to and you may be thinking about retirement in 10 years. Or you may be an international student, and even though your parents may be helping you out with your tuition, you blah, 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 blah. So try to make your relevant statement full and relevant to as many people as possible. And you don't have to say immigrant, but what I'm just trying to say is make sure that you deal with I mean, I don't, you want to, you want to look at what's the word I'm looking for? You want to try and represent as many people in your audience, and your audience is this class, right?
Yeah.
But you know what, Raphael, I'm going to assume that you do speeches normally because you've done this with such, I'm impressed, in other words.
Yeah. I have. Yeah.
You're accustomed to, I can see that just from the way you've done this. This is what I'm looking for. A little bit more, yes, but this is what I want to hear. I mean, I'm going to put, okay, guys, no, I don't like ever putting grades on things because until I sit down, so like when we're doing even at the cover letter, and so many of them I was thinking, yeah, by the time I read them, word by word, line by line, it wasn't a wow anymore because the grammar was off, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about another time. So I don't want to be committing to this, but this already seems, SEEMS uppercase. I want to be very clear with this group because I don't like being misquoted. This seems to be what would be an A speech. This has the making of an A speech. So I have no doubt that you're going to do well on this. I didn't say it was an A. Guys, I did not say it was an A.
We have it on YouTube.
You have, okay. You have it on YouTube.
Yes.
It feels very good though, Raphael. I love the energy behind it, and it really feels.
I just have a question, Professor.
Yes.
I noticed that with your talk about friendship, your introduction, I want to say, was roughly 30 to 40% of the length.
Okay, so my speech, you see, was really, here's the thing now, Raphael, right?
Yeah, yes, Raphael.
A lot, whenever I do my speech, so Raphael, here's the thing, I have two audiences, right?
Yeah.
I have my students, and I have everybody else who is interested in my kind of content, right?
Yeah.
So when I did it, the time when I did it, I was thinking I wanted to do a speech that was long enough so that I could clearly show all the steps. And as you can guess, I'm a bit of a talker. So it ended up being longer. So here's the thing. When you're not doing it for a grade, then you do whatever you want. And when you leave this class, and as long as you have the elements there and you figure out how you want to do it, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
But for mine, how long was it? Just 30%?
That's what I was wondering. Should an introduction be a certain length of the
Okay,
total
so
oral?
Okay, the conclusion is the shortest, right?
Yeah.
And the introduction, the attention grabber. Okay, let me tell you, I don't have a real formula that I go by, but your conclusion must be brief, and your attention grabber should be, I think, it should be the longest part of your introduction. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I want it to be 5 to 7 minutes. If it runs over into 10, because you're giving me a video, it will not be a problem. But whenever we were in class, and some of my guidelines, I probably need to still remember to I haven't changed everything. When you're in a class, this is normally in the last 2 classes. So it's all of the second to last class, and then the first part of the last class, and then the second part, I allow rewrites for if people didn't like one particular grade. So because of that, I always have to limit it to 5 to 7 minutes, which is still ideal because, especially if you guys bring it to me at the very end. If, however, it runs to 10, it's not going to be the work. I don't want it over 10. But if it runs to 10, I can live with that. 10 is a bit, what are you writing? It's a bit. More than 10 is a bit much. Yeah. I'm not listening beyond 10 minutes. Trust me. So just keep in mind though, that the attention grabber must be the longest part of the introduction. Sometimes people give me like a 5-second introduction. They'll never. Because if I'm marking the attention grabber, let us say I'm using points and not a percentage yet, right? Then the attention grabber alone would be getting 5 of the 30 points. That's how important it is. And then, but the entire introduction would be about 10. So when I think of these kinds of speeches, I think in terms of the number 30, because I have to kind of put numbers on it. And when I do, like I said, attention grabber gets 5 of the 30 marks, and then the rest of the introduction. So the entire introduction is 10, 5 of which goes just to the attention grabber, because the attention grabber is that important. And then the conclusion tends to get like about 2, and then the body gets, I mean, I'll post that when I figure it out and post it in the discussion area. But then I'm looking for other things like body language and the use of language and that kind of thing. It's minimal for those things. But, you know, if people are just, like suppose you say, I was happy, and you say, I was happy. I'm definitely taking off a mark there. Because your body must reflect what you're saying.
And then
But
for the visuals, do you have a preference for number of visuals to use? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think I wrote that I want at least 2. I think I wrote that.
Okay.
At least 2. And please understand that the visual does not have to be like the guy with salt. His visual was salt. That's all he used. That is all he used. Guys, those were the days before we were taping, but I wish I had taped that, because that is a video. I will tell you though, in the 20 years that I have taught public speaking, he remains the most. I've had 2, hold on, I wonder if she's online. She told me she was coming on today. I have another A student. Hold on, let me see if she's here. She said she's gonna pop by. Okay, I don't think I see her. I had 2 A students. Like A+. He was one of them. He did an A+ speech, but he got A in the end because his professionalism was off, really. But really, he was always late, always. And he didn't care, because I kept saying, you're gonna lose marks for this, you're gonna lose. And he said, oh, professor, I'm good. He was an African-American. He wanted to just pound the fist with me. And I said, you're gonna lose marks. You're gonna lose marks. He was like, oh, that's fine. He said, I know I'm gonna get an A. And I said, but you could get an A+. He said, that's fine, I'm fine. But I mean, so the delivery is important, and I know not everybody can do that, but I don't want you to be lifeless and just standing up there. And some people are reading because Tanya won't know that they're reading. And I keep saying, I have 2 sons. I've learned all the tricks from them. So I want to see you. And I know it's a bit harder when you're not actually face to face, but you need to have some amount of, you know what I'm saying? You need
Je ne
to.
sais quoi.
Hey, yeah. You definitely need a little bit of that. Mark Jennings, hello, Professor. Hello, Mark. Oh my God. Mark, are you there still? Because if you are there, I'm going to tell my class about my story about you. Are you there? Are you there still? Because that would be an interesting story about friendship. So guys, this is my friend, Mark Jennings. He's disappeared. And I've known him since university. And I never saw him for about, I would say at least 20 years. And I ran into him, or we connected over Facebook maybe 5 years ago, right? He's not here because he's not. Mark, he's here. Yes, he's here. Guys, I have to tell you the story. Mark, listen up to the story. So guys, I'm coming off and let me go back to the class. So guys, we're talking about finding topics, right? So when my father died in December of 2019, my whole family went down to Jamaica, and Mark was in Jamaica then. I think he lives in Atlanta most of the time, but he was in Jamaica. Okay, guys? Here's a story now. And that's what I mean by look at your life for stories, right? So it's the day of the funeral, and about half hour before the car comes to take us, because we had a car to pick us up, right? About half hour before, my son comes to me, my 22-year-old son comes across. We're in a hotel and he's in the room adjoining, and he comes across and he said, where are my shoes? I said, where are your shoes? So of course I'm looking at him because I'm thinking, what do you mean, where are your shoes? Then he says, well, it was in the green bag. The green bag was the only one of the 6 pieces that got delayed coming from Vancouver to Jamaica. It took them 1 week to deliver that bag. And he waits until the day of the funeral to realize that his shoes were in that bag. So of course, I'm panicking now because the funeral is in no time and he has no shoes. And my friend Mark is the only person I could think about. And I think, let me call Mark and let me find out if he has shoes. So I called him first and I said, do you wear size 12? He says, no, I wear size whatever. Or did I say whatever? And I said to him, I don't care what size you wear. It's going to be big for my son, but can I borrow a pair of shoes? Guys, with half hour to go, now this is friendship. Mark turns up at the hotel. I don't even meet him because I sent my husband to get the shoes because I'm trying to get ready to. And I get a pair of shoes so that my son can go to his grandfather's funeral and not be wearing sneakers with a suit. I've always said that I would use that as a story, as my attention grabber, if I wanted to talk about friendship. Because I'm not just talking about, and it wouldn't just be, I couldn't use the regular points that people know about friendship, but what I would do is use a story like that just to explain, maybe the angle I could take is why it is you need to treasure your friend, or no, why it is you need to choose the right friends. Because most of the time people talk about friendship, they talk about, the benefits, blah, blah, blah. But one of the things people rarely talk about is how to choose. Or anybody online now, tell anybody, any of you guys, what could be a different angle that you take if you're talking about friendship? Because I would start with that story, definitely, because it remains one of the most, I have many friends. Okay, I have enough friends, not many. I have enough friends, but I consider that an act of friendship. For me, friendship isn't saying, oh, you're my good friend. Friendship is what you do. So maybe that could be maybe that's the angle, why it is that friendship is more in deed than in word, or in deed than in word or something. But you can take a mundane topic like friendship and you can do something different. Like how I spoke about sustainability. No, I wouldn't use that story if I wanted to talk about the sustainability of friendship. I spoke about another friend who I hadn't spoken to for years until I heard her mother died. And at that point, I didn't care what had gone ahead, what had happened. I just thought, I don't care. You are my friend. Your mother has died. I am going to be there for you. Bad on me for not being forgiven before. So that's what I mean when you say you want to test your attention grabber, and you want to match it to your thesis, and then you want to match it to your conclusion. And there must be an obvious tie. So the story about Mark, if I had used that as my attention grabber, and then I said, so today I'm going to talk to you about the sustainability of friendship. I'm going to tell you the problems, the effects, and the solution. You would have every right to say, where was the problem? Where was the effect? And what solution is there when you already say that it's a good friend, right? So that's what I mean by test your speech and make sure that those three things tie together. So Mark, I don't know if you're still here, but thank you so much. And in front of my students, I want to publicly say thank you for being such a great friend. And I'm not on Facebook, so if you're responding, I won't know until a little bit later on. Okay, back to my class now. Who wants to share their speech? And if you have a Mark in your life and you want to talk about friendship and you want to give it a different angle, that could work also. But it has to be able to contribute to our lives. It could work, but I'm not sure if you could make it, how you could make it challenging. But I think if I had spoken about friendship and spoken about how to, I could make it challenging. So if you want to do friendship and you know how to make it challenging, that could work. So Amara, do you want to share yours? Raphael, were we done? Raphael.
Yes, I am done. Thank
You're
you.
done. Alan, I see you're there. Nice to see you, Alan. Give me a wave. Are you here? Or is it just your name?
I'm here.
Are you? Oh, Alex's hands is Alexis.
Yeah, if no one else wants to go, then I could go again.
Alan, did you want to share
But other
yours?
people could go first.
I'm still trying to refine mine, so I'll be a little bit.
Okay. Is there anybody? Let me close this. I can't see who is here. Anastasia, did you want to share yours? Who said I'm here? I keep hearing I'm here. Who's that? Oh, it's the echo. I'm sorry, guys. It's the echo. I am hearing the echo. I'm the only one hearing the echo. My God, I don't know how I'm going to survive this echo.
It's you talking with you.
Huh?
It's you talking with you.
I'm talking to myself. Yes.
Then I guess I should go.
Yes,
All right.
please. You're going to share your screen? Okay.
All right. So I've revised the story that I'm going to start with, which is a personal friend of mine.
Okay, no, so I want to ask you, so this person, how will you lead from this? Because looking at it, it sounds like a success story, but I don't see, I'm not seeing that thing that you spoke about. How are you going to, where do you bring that in?
I'm going to talk about how they became a success story, to try to grab the person's attention, and then talk about my credibility, and then talk about...
No, hold on a little, Alexis.
Because I'm not supposed to announce it at the start.
Pardon?
Because I'm not supposed to announce what the strategy
was.
But
where is this NFT? How do you bring NFT? Because
the success was the NFT.
Okay, so you need to put it in there because I didn't see the word there. So it made me think that it was not a part of this story. So
like, this isn't...
That's how he became a millionaire?
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so then becoming a millionaire because of so that would have made me realize that you were going to mention it. But that's why I thought so.
But
okay.
You said to not mention it until the very end. So
No, you're not going to say this is my topic, but you are going to mention it. So if let's say you said, and
I can't say the word until the very end.
No. You have to say it. It's a topic. That's number 2. You have to introduce it, but not announce it.
Yeah, because this isn't like the fully fleshed out exactly word for word how I'm going to tell the story. But this is like the concept.
So you're going to mention it in the story, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just placeholder.
So you say, Alexis, and because you didn't say then becoming a millionaire, so tell me though, he became a millionaire because somebody told him about it or what?
Because he was successful with NFTs, which is the thing that I'm going to explain.
Yeah.
And try to make it more relevant to artists,
so
for people. about, are you interested in
Okay, now,
extra
for
side
people who
hustle?
have never heard about NFTs, I want you to, you don't have to do this now, but when you're planning your story, make sure that there's a definition or something that orients people who may not know about it yet. So assume, because you're not talking to
because I guess like, because the body explains it.
no, we can't wait for the body, because if we don't know what it is, we're lost. So let us say, I don't know what NFT,
But I guess
what's it, NFT? Let me give you an
like,
idea of what I mean.
because I'm supposed to do a story, briefly mention it, talk about my credibility, do the relevancy, then I mention the topic, and then I go immediately into explaining.
No, 1 and 2 are first, right? Before you even get to your credibility, we need to know your topic. The only thing you're not going to do, say, is, this is my topic, which many people actually do. That's why I put those words, without announce it. Introduce it, but don't announce it.
So I can say it.
You have to say it, or else we won't know.
But how is that different than without announcing it?
Come again?
How is it different than not announcing it, though?
Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say I just told you about that story about my friend Mark, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a story, but you're not necessarily sure where I'm going. But if I said something like, and you know, that experience helped me to realize that you have to really know, you have to be really mindful when you choose your friends, because the wrong friend can blah, blah, blah. I've introduced a topic, but I haven't said, this is my topic. Listen to the difference between that and. So I was so glad when Mark brought the shoes to the funeral, and I'm going to tell you about friendship right now. See the difference? With one, I'm announcing that I'm going to tell you about friendship. You're not to announce it. You're to slip it in so that when the audience hears the attention grabber and they hear that, they will make the connection. So it's a subtle, but at the very end now, so if I had done all of that and then I said, and I'd say, and you know, guys, I've been thinking about friendship forever, because I've had friends from high school, I've had friends from university days, I've had friends from the first place I worked. And I've also done research on friendship. That is my credibility. And I know for many of you sitting in this audience, you've had friends also. You may have had friends, you may have made friends with your co-workers or da, 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 da. So today, I am going to talk to you about friendship, and that's the announcement. So you don't announce it until you get to step 5. Before that, we're going to hear the word. So by the time we get to step 5, we know where you're going. What we just don't know is the 1, 2, and 3 yet. Does that make a difference?
Yes. So I
don't announce it yet.
Word.
Yes.
So I can say the word non-fungible tokens.
Yes, you have to. You must.
I'm not just holding it until the very end when I finally say that.
So Alexis, a little louder. What did you say? And not what?
So I shouldn't wait until the very end to say that.
Oh, you cannot. You cannot. Remember, guys, this is just like, you know, for the memos where we want to know very early where you're going. People listen when they have a reason to listen. And if they don't know what you're talking about, then they're kind of, so what is this about? So even though you're not announcing it to the end, they're figuring out where you're going, But you know what, Alexis, you know what happens a lot of times? Students will start with something like that. And then they, like suppose it's a friendship thing. And then they say, so then I'm going to talk to you about why death is scary. And then people are like, whoa, death? What are you talking about? And that's because it wasn't mentioned before. So let's say I had really wanted to talk about my father's death, and I want to talk about death. I could have maybe had some bits of that story, but let's say you kept hearing me talking about death. You would assume I'm talking about death, but until I say at the end, so I'm going to tell you about how death affects us, then you would, anyway, the bottom line is you have to say it before. Don't announce it, but you must slip it in, slide it in.
Okay.
Yeah, slip it in. Think of the baseball player that does the slide, and that's what you're going to do. So what's in it? What happens to people in their brains? So it's the, okay, yes.
Trying to make it more relevant to general audience.
So so the thing about the brain thing though, it's not gonna be a part of your speech, right? You're just, that's just to help you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Business notes.
Okay.
And
Alexis, just because I'm sorry, Alexis, I have to say this because it's just me. I'm really sorry, but it's the THEIR for there. Okay, I'm sorry, Alexis. I know students hate when I do it, but I'm just a geek like that. It's bugging me. It's really bugging me. I'm sorry, Alexis. Please don't hold it against me. Please, I would feel like a hypocrite if I didn't say it to you. Okay.
But to try to get it to be more relevant, I could try to focus it on how anyone can make extra.
How what? You could try to.
How anyone can make extra money in the same amount of time it takes to upload a Facebook post.
Huh. Yes. Is that the only thing that would make it relevant?
It's like, because it's available to everyone so that they have access to the global market, and the process of doing it is as fast as doing Facebook. And you can spend time trying to understand the complexities of everything that's going on, but you don't need to go that deep to get started.
Is this kind of like EFT, stock market kind of thing?
Sort of.
Connected?
It's more like selling your art that you've been making online and you get paid directly, kind of like a Craigslist.
Did you just say art that they have been making?
Yeah.
And that's the problem, Alexis. That's too specialist, because
how
many of us are artists? I'm not saying no, but you have to figure out some more entry points. But you don't want to
because it's for artists and it's something that I'm interested in.
If you could, so hold on. The only way to do this is if the person is the artist. So I couldn't do it because I'm not an artist. Because if that's the case, then I would say that's not going to be the best topic then, because you're not going to get. Pardon?
You could be an art collector, which is the general public who goes to shows.
So you really have to be either a collector. Yeah. You would really have to work to make it relevant to us over and over. I'm not saying it couldn't work. I really think I think it could really add to our body of knowledge, but it's on you now to make it relevant. I had a student one year who did, what's that thing when you have that sixth sense and it's called, and you see the world and like you see colors when people are doing things.
Synesthesia.
Exactly. It was so fascinating. See, I can't even remember what it is because it was the first time. And then since then I watched a movie. So it was not relevant, but she made it so relevant that at the end, I went home and I told my husband, he was like, yeah, I know that. So you have to really work at making it relevant. It was a very fascinating talk, but nobody had heard about it. Like in 2012, I had a student who introduced us to
I know 6 people with it.
Cosplay, and nobody had heard about cosplay at that point, which I found very odd because I think I had heard about it before, but she made it so relevant to us that it just made sense. So you just have to work at it a little bit more to make it relevant. But you have time, Alexis. You have 2 weeks. You are very ahead of the game where you are now. It's just a matter of working on the relevance aspect and making it less technical and more what's that word I'm looking for? Layman. Make it more for the layman. Do you think you can do that?
I'm not sure.
I'm not saying you should, yeah, less technical.
I should abandon it and go with something simpler because I don't fully understand it, and I guess it's not interesting.
Okay, so you want to take this down for a while?
I guess so.
Or you wanted to do more?
I feel like I should start from scratch and pick something else.
But this is what your report is going to be on, right?
Because it's something that I'm interested in, and it's something that.
So what are you going to focus on for the report? Don't tell me the report. Just tell me what's your focus. What was your core sentence?
Was like
no, give me the core sentence. Give me the core sentence.
I don't know it off the top of my head.
You don't have your core sentence yet?
I would have to pull it up, but I can't say it off the top of my head.
Alexis, for some reason, because I can't see your mouth and I think you're speaking quietly. So I can't hear. I don't know why. Okay, now I can see.
And I should stop.
I didn't hear. I still didn't hear, Alexis. Sorry, I didn't hear. What did you say?
My technology isn't working and I'm really frustrated and I think I'm just going to stop.
Okay. Okay. Who wants to go next? So guys,
so Professor, I do have a question.
Yes, please. Love questions.
So with the outline for the oral that's due today, the idea is that we have a rough concept of our introduction, the body just like outline what our 3 main topics will be, and then sort of our conclusion.
Yes. Remember the same outline that I gave you guys?
Yeah.
That is what I'm looking for, but I know that people will have different levels of readiness, but I just want to see if it makes sense. So I did say that the more you can fill in, the better, but I really want to see the introduction more than anything else, because if the introduction works and you say, today I'm going to talk to you about, once that happens, then I know for a fact, or I can guess what your body will look like.
Okay, and then the final key you gave us in one of your videos is that the conclusion should tie back to something in the introduction. That was a key thing where like we pulled it back together.
It must feel like you've come full circle.
Okay.
So like my story, I stopped it when she answered when I was waiting for the phone to answer for her to pick up, right?
Yes.
And the conclusion, I said, so for those of you wondering, so that's one thing. But let's say you want to end it differently. When you end it still, it must somehow reflect the introduction.
Okay. Makes sense.
It has to still reflect the introduction, because remember now and I'm going to do that this week. Your introduction, your attention grabber, your thesis, and your conclusion must be connected. And you must be able to so tell me how you started again, Raphael.
The way I started, I said, what if I told you that after today, I can help your relationships last longer and even help you.
Okay, put it up so that I don't have to stretch put it up, and I'm going to show you what I mean.
Yeah, let me share.
Did you have a thesis?
Share. I don't believe I have a thesis in my oral, but my research and my oral are the same.
Are the
thing.
same? So
Yeah, they're the same
what's your
topic.
core sentence?
My core sentence is, why are most people bad with money?
Core sentence is not a question. I think you have it right here. This report seeks to explore.
Oh yes, sorry. This report seeks to explore.
So this is what we talk about when we say be concise, right?
Yeah.
This report seeks to explore, take out the word what.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's an Excel, that's why.
Okay, no problem. Guys, let me just tell you right now, I really need you to all understand that I'm very blunt. I don't know any other way, but I only have your interest at heart. So if you feel embarrassed, I'll try, but I'm not gonna ignore. I'm just saying this because, Raphael, I did not mean to embarrass you, but
no.
You know, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know, I don't know any other way. Yeah. Because I have to either, you know, when I see something, I have to figure out, do I not say, do I pretend? Because then when I mark it, you're going to think, then she could have told me. So sorry about it, guys. And I tell my students, especially the public speaking ones, I tell them, if you cannot handle directness, then you don't need my feedback, believe me, because you don't need my feedback ever. If you can come up with what works and get an A, fine. And I don't assume that everybody needs feedback from me. I don't. I'm just saying that based on all these years of teaching, when I get work and people give me stuff and they don't like it, then I think, well, then you should have gotten feedback.
And Tanya,
don't mean to offend anybody, okay? Because I feel I need to be dancing now. So I just want to make myself very clear. This is who I am. I am not anything else. So.
And Professor, I feel like the one thing I feel like younger people are still like they need more time with is having difficult conversations. Something that it's not being taught in school, and sometimes it's being avoided at home. So when you have like someone who's blunt, I don't think so. Some people know how to process that because they've never had difficult conversations in real life.
I am assuming that is it, because I've had students before tell the dean she stopped me. It's something that people say every time. She stopped me when I was speaking. It's that nobody has ever stopped them before. And I said to my dean the last time, I said, so was I supposed to listen to it and give them an F? And I've never understood that. Do you take the F or do you want the, I just don't get that.
Yeah.
I had a student once who walked out, slammed the door. I've never seen that before. An adult, a woman nearly my age. And when she left, it was so bad, everybody looked and they said, okay, we've never seen anything like this. Mind you, she came back the next day and she apologized. She said that she'd never heard anybody tell her no before. I said, really? I just don't get that. And I remember that, and I tell people all the time, the first time I said to my son, he showed me work and he was about 8. And when I looked at it, I said, honey, that's a C. And he looked at me very disappointed and he said, Mom, you're supposed to tell me good job. I said, what? He said, Mom, everything I do, the teachers tell me good job. I said, but darling, you keep getting C's. How is that a good job? He said, but my teacher says I did well. I said, darling, this is not well. This is not doing well. I said, a C is not going to take you very far.
No.
I said, I am telling you because I care. I said, she's telling you because that's what she's supposed to say. But listen to me, that is not a good job. And you know what, guys? I want to hear it too. If I'm doing something that isn't working, tell me it's not working. And I will look at it. I take every criticism. I may not change. If you say, don't do it, I'm not going to change this. I can promise you that the directness, I'm not going to change it.
No, we shouldn't have to.
Because I have students who get A's only because I am direct. And I think I told you guys, I don't know if you've watched that video before, but I had a student she came up and she was just pulling herself along and she was just talking about grit, and it was just, and I listened for about 2 minutes and then I said, I'm sorry, I have to stop you. And she looked at me. I said, and I said, it was my 3rd time teaching her. I had taught her 2 other courses before and I had a little bit of knowledge about her life. And I said, and you're going to hear about it when you, this week you're going to hear it in one of the videos. I said to her, I said, I need a story. I said, first of all, that's a C speech. If you tell us a story, I promise you, it will elevate it to an A speech. And she sat down and she looked and and I said, do you want the A or do you want a C? Your choice at this point. I said, do you need a little time to rethink your introduction? She said, yes. She rethought it, and when she came back again, she gave a story. And you're going to hear that story. Powerful. She had people in tears. And when she was finished, I looked at her and I said, I thought you said you didn't have a story. She said, I didn't think anybody wanted to hear my story. I said, it's your story. Because when it's your story, and as much as you can, if you can start with your story for your speech, you would be amazed. And it was a very simple story. You're going to hear it again, but I'm going to say it now. She said, when I was 16, I found myself, she said, I was 16. I don't remember now because I'm kind of hyped up. But she basically said, I was 16 in the Philippines and I found myself pregnant, something and something. I don't remember, but that was it. And when she told, everybody sat back because she was, I would say, in her 30s, but it's her story and nobody had ever heard it before. And all she was trying to tell us, she was talking about grit. No, grit is not new. But what she was showing was how grit saved her, the 16-year-old pregnant girl. And that made the difference between the C and the A, because she came with this textbook definition. Grit is, and she was reading it. Grit is, and she gave us a definition and and I listened to her and I thought, really? No, I did not know about that part of her story, but I had known a bit about her story because she had an issue and she had to leave for a while. And when she came back, I said, okay, let's work this out, blah, blah, blah. But I thought to myself, you need a story. So if you're going to give me that, I'll take it. But I didn't see why she should get a C. And all she did was change the attention grabber. And I think when she changed it, it gave her a little bit more confidence and it gave her a little bit more energy. And then when she explained that she was Catholic, everybody got it. Because we didn't understand the need for grit until she said, I was 16, I was living in the Philippines, and I was from a very strict Catholic family. Because a lot of times when we speak, we don't necessarily want to tell the world. But you don't have to tell people things you don't want to tell them, but you have to be willing to be vulnerable because those are the best speeches. And when she said, I was 16 pregnant, living in the Philippines, and I'm an international student here, and blah, 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 blah. And when she said it, I said, wow, total game changer, total. Now, I also, no, you're never going to hear this speech because it was one of the earlier ones that I did. She actually wrote me in COVID, during COVID, and she said, the first time I met you, I thought you'd be the worst teacher that I'd have. I said, what? She said, I thought you were a bit too much. I said, yeah, I've heard that before. So what she was writing me was to tell me, thank you for being like that with her, because I said to her, you're going to pass my 3 courses and you're going to do very well at them. Because I knew she was struggling and her daughter was at home and she was depressed. I said, you are going to do well in my class and I'm not going to stop until you do well. So I can't help it, guys. This is me. So like I said, if you don't like this and this is not what you want to get through, you don't need me. All you have to do is read the assignments, do them, do the work. You don't have to interact with me. You really don't. But if you ask me for feedback, guys, I'm going to give it to you. So my spiel is over. Now, this report seeks to expose the factors that prevent people from learning about
how money works.
No. I'm thinking, Are you talking about these three things actually prevent people? The educational system, the capitalist system, and the class system prevent people from learning how money works?
No.
Because that's what your sentence says.
I should say influence.
Oh, this report seeks to. Okay, so why expose then? Let's go with that. Let me talk a little bit about that word. Why expose? Because expose would mean it's hidden, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to uncover something?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this report seeks to expose the factors that prevent people from learning.
I feel like that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're therefore saying that the educational system hides it, and the capitalist system hides it, and the class system hides it, because that's what your sentence is telling me. Is that what you want? Is that really what you mean? Because
I feel like it seeks to not educate you on how money works.
All right, let me tell you why I'm saying
Okay.
this. When you write your report,
Yeah.
one column, the reason that you have to write a core sentence, you see,
Yeah.
is the core sentence is giving you the body. Your entire body is going to focus on the educational system, the capitalist system, and the class system. Yes. So when you do the alphanumeric outline, I want to see what you plan to discuss in the educational system.
Yeah.
Then I want to see what you plan to discuss in the capitalist system. Then I want to see what you want to discuss in the class system.
Yeah.
And the discussion should be showing me, because you said you are exposing it, then in the educational system, I want to see what has been hidden, and I want to see how you're going to be exposing it, because that's what I get from this core sentence. So for the capitalist system, I want to see what it is that is hidden and how it is exposed. Because you're saying it exposes people. Sorry, you're saying you're exposing the factors that prevent people from learning how money works. So I'm going to show you what prevents people from learning how money works in the education system. I'm going to show you what prevents people from learning in the capitalist system. I'm going to show you what prevents people from learning in the class system. That is what your core sentence is telling me.
Yes, but
is that what you want to do?
Yes, I just need to make it more clear, because I feel like you had to break it down to even make sense of it.
So that's your core sentence, is a commitment for your, and that's why it's very important, because it doesn't make sense moving on unless you are sure about what you want to do.
Yeah. So
remember, like how I spoke about sustainability, and I had communication skills. If I'm saying that it's lack of communication, I don't remember what I said, but maybe I said lack of communication skills is the reason that people don't sustain friendship. Then when you read that, if you were to read that in my report, you should be reading all of these sentences telling you, people don't sustain relationships because they don't have conflict resolution skills. Conflict resolution skills are the skills that you need there. It helps people to get to a win-win situation according to so-and-so from so-and-so. What this report is, what his quote is really telling us is that because people don't, therefore, from my experience, when people don't know how to resolve conflict, they don't know how to forgive and move on. And when they don't forgive and move on, that relationship is not sustained. Therefore, this is why it is a necessary factor in the sustainability of friendship or whatever. So what I'm saying is, you have your nice, it's your core sentence, and then you have your nice topic sentence, and you keep developing and developing and developing. So in the end, your body of your report is going to be 3 to 4 pages. Think of it as at least 1 page each, where 1 page is a full discussion of the first part of your core sentence. Your second page is a full discussion of the capitalist system, which is your second point. And your third page is a full discussion of the class system, where you're giving your voice. You're not just stringing together quotes. You're explaining why you said that this is one of the reasons that people don't learn about how money works. So I see what you're saying. The education system doesn't have a curriculum. I believe you can. My kids never learned. That makes sense. And then the capitalist system, are you talking about the fact that people just love plastic and they think they can just use credit cards for everything?
Yes, you're correct.
Exactly. That's another reason that people don't realize how money works. Oh, I don't know when my credit card ran up to 10,000. When you were buying the Louis Vuitton, that's when it ran up. So yes, that would make sense. So everything you do, keep going back to your core sentence. What did I say in my core sentence? Is this what I am writing? And every paragraph must have that. You know what? I'm going to put up, when I'm done, I'm going to put up the mark grade for the progress report. It's for the reports in general. You can use it for the progress reports also, because I need to see a lot more tightening in the writing, especially because the report is so simple, the progress report, but it's not just talking about I did this, I did that. I'm not seeing enough, whoever's listening, I'm not seeing enough thinking, and I'm not seeing sentences that are sharp. So I'm not seeing a variety of sentences. I'm not seeing the transitions between the sentences. We have to have that. If it's not there, you're not going to get more than a 6 out of 10. That's not you, Raphael. I'm just saying. Okay. So if I don't remember, no, I'll remember. When I'm done, I'll put it up because I have it somewhere. I'm going to put it up so that people can, I mean, you can do it or don't do it. Again, your choice, guys. Anybody who wants to do it, do it. But you can go sentence by sentence. Ask yourself, is this a good sentence? Is it a simple sentence? If it's simple, what's my subject? What's my verb? Have I turned my verb into a noun? And that's one of the things you don't do. If you read Guffey, you try to not turn your verbs into nouns. So rather than saying, let me give an example. I need to invest in the stock market. Rather than saying, I need to think about my stock market investment, it would be better to say, it's a stronger verb to say, I need to think about I need to invest, things like that, you know? And then you look at it and say, is this the passive voice or is this the active voice? And then if you chose a passive voice, why is it passive? You notice that the last 2 emails I sent, I bracketed that only because I want you to start to think in terms of when you use the passive voice. So I think I used it this morning. I don't remember what I said this morning, but as soon as I wrote it, I thought, let me let everybody know this is passive because I don't want to say me. Oh, I think I said I didn't want to say I won't be giving feedback by email because I won't be, but it's harsher when you say that, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's negative also. I won't be giving feedback. And it sounds hard. So feedback will not be given via email. It's easier. So it's passive. So most times active voice work, but anytime you don't want that effect, you turn it into passive. And it's usually when it's something negative. But most people, I don't know why, use the passive voice when they're writing. And that first sentence I wrote in that long email, I said, to your privacy, to maintain your privacy. That's what we call context and the you attitude. So look back at that email. Trust me, I spent a long time writing it because I wanted to make sure that I modeled what I wanted. And the active voice is something that you only want to use when, the passive voice is only used. I just said that. The passive voice is only used when you don't want to put the emphasis on the actor or the subject or the person in the sentence. And it takes time, right? But that's why you have to go sentence by sentence. That's why I'm going to put up a thing, because it forces you. And another thing I said is read from the last sentence. When I wrote an email, I said, don't read it in the order that you wrote it in, because our brains work like that. You know, you just wrote, this report seeks to expose the factor that, let's say you had another sentence after it. After a time, your brain knows it in that order. So even, let's say you had said, this report seeks to expose the, and you had the letter D, past tense. You wouldn't necessarily hear it if you had a lot of text because you've heard it for so much. It's right. No, it's right. It's correct. But you don't hear the error a lot of times until you reverse the order. So read your last sentence alone, then read the second to last sentence alone, then read the sentence before it alone, and keep going like that. So this, when you do it that way, you're not checking for fluency yet. All you're checking for is errors. When you're done, then you can read it through and then add and subtract things. But if you're looking for errors, it's much easier if you go sentence by sentence. So I'm gonna put a checklist, consider it a checklist, and you don't even really need it because the memo checklist, those the things that I'm looking for, you attitude, they're all there. But I'll put another checklist so that you can think about each sentence. You can ask yourself: is this passive? Is this active? Do I have transitions here? Is this sentence connected to? It takes that kind of precision. Every sentence. Put it against the next sentence. Ask yourself, how is this sentence connected to the sentence before? And then, how is this sentence connected to the sentence after? And you go sentence by sentence, because the transitions are very important. And when you're doing your speech, I expect to hear them also. If there are no transitions, then it's just very, everybody, you've all heard me say it, da 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 da, because that's how we hear it, right? So make sure it's okay.
Yes.
So once you do that, it makes a world of difference. Once again, everybody has a choice: do it or don't do it. So Raphael, was there anything else you wanted to share with me?
No. I think I'm comfortable posting my layout for now.
You have discussion. What you have for your speech,
Oral?
Speech, and guess what? If you don't have to post, because I've already told you you're on the right track. This activity is not worth anything. There are no marks. It doesn't even have to be done. I just don't like the stress of when people don't like their mark. I don't like that stress. I'm just trying to avoid. I'm going to look out for myself, really. It's self-interest. I don't want the stress. And I don't want anybody emailing me, asking me individual question. Okay, I was active. I use the active voice there. So you have a choice. But you don't have to do yours, because I just looked at it and you are on the right track. You're doing very well with this. Because if you keep those 3 body points and you make sure that you have a strong topic sentence, so next week, if you want to turn up again on Thursday, if you want to turn up with more so you can get more feedback.
Sorry, so the topic sentence is what we open our 3 main points with. Is that correct?
The core sentence is going to have those 3 things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. What are we talking about now? Report or?
The topic sentence.
No. What are we talking about? The report?
Yeah, report, yeah.
The report. Okay. Yeah. So every paragraph just has to have a topic sentence.
Okay.
Just in general. Because that way, if you're doing that, you're going to have a decent enough report. But you have to have, sometimes students just write and write and write and write and write. So it's okay to do that for the first draft. But when you're finished with the first draft, now you have to think in terms of organization, paragraph development, organization. How am I organizing my sentences? How am I organizing my paragraph? And the problem I find is that because most people have heard it forever, because I know they teach this in elementary school. I think my kids were doing it from elementary school. Because of that, the importance is overlooked. But we look for it when we're marking. We look to see if each paragraph had one subject fully developed with a concluding sentence. We're looking for that. So, like I said, I'm definitely going to put the that checklist up. because I want everybody to really check their sentences, because when I saw them, that was what I noticed. I'm going to put the checklist. I'm going to put the checklist up. Yeah, I'm going to put up put up a checklist just so you can look at what you did. Are you good, Raphael?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else, or shall we just go? Because it's now 4:30. No, Benjamin. Benjamin.
Sorry, I'm here.
Do you want to say something before we go?
No, I need to work a lot because I need to change all my document, but I hope to
but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, but based on what we said, it will help you?
Yes, a lot.
Okay, as long as I just want to know that it was productive for you and that you figure out, it has helped you to figure out some things. Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Do you guys need me? Do you guys, I hate doing this, but do you guys want me to extend it from Friday night? Do you want a little bit more time to figure it out? Yes. Those of you here represent your classmates. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
A little more time wouldn't hurt.
Okay, so let us think of Sunday night again then. But I have to be doing it by Monday though. We don't have, not that we not need to panic about the time, but but Sunday night, okay? So yes, that please. You can rethink and look again. Guys, look back at the assignment guidelines. Now, here's the thing. Because I write so much, I know your eyes glaze over sometimes and you think, oh my God, she's written again. But trust me, guys, it's there. Anything you want to know, it's there. I try to think about anything that you could ask and I try to put it in. That's why they're so long. Because I'm trying to think, is this something that they know? So I write and I write and I write. And believe me, guys, I write and I walk away. I write, I go to bed. And I want you to understand that writing is like that. Anytime I don't do that, like I don't know if any of you noticed that when I had posted about the reports, if you kept checking, you'd have noticed that it kept getting longer and longer. I made the mistake of just writing on Blackboard. And then when I reread it, I thought, oh, but I haven't told them this. And then I had to go back and change. Oh, but then I haven't told them this. And I had to keep going, but it kept changing and changing and getting longer and longer. That was my mistake. I should have just written it in Word and then copied it. But what I'm trying to show you is that when it comes to writing, it's not a one-time, let me just throw something up and I'm done. It's writing and writing and rewriting and rewriting. It takes time. So if you've written your report, and all of you who posted obviously have, now you want to go back with a fresh set of eyes and be critical of yourself. Be very critical of yourself. And critical doesn't mean you don't like yourself. It doesn't mean you're going to be mean to yourself. It just means that you're going to assume you could do better. And you're going to be a little bit like, you're going to say, okay, how is it? Why is this a good sentence? Why am I satisfied with this sentence? Am I satisfied with this sentence? That's what I want you to do. So please, no, Trisha, guys, you gotta meet Trisha. You gotta meet Trisha. Is that you, Trisha? Guys, you gotta meet Trisha. So Trisha, I don't think she's on. So guys, did I tell it? I went to 3 places today and I don't know where my phone is. So I obviously left it. That's one of the reasons that I want to leave soon because I have to now go find the phone. So my computer picks up when I don't know if everybody's phone is like that, but I guess my phone and computer and iPad, everything is synced. So I know for a fact that my student just texted me and I wanted you to meet her, not any, not like you're gonna say hi, but I wanted you to meet her because she got A in all, every time I say A, she says, A+. She got like 2 A+ and 1 A in, is that, I think, I'm here. She said, no. So I just told her that I guess it's okay. But what I'm trying to say, guys, it's very possible. Trisha is so intense, really. She was so intense, hard worker. But what I'm saying is A's are very possible. A+ is very possible, but it's a certain level of commitment. So my thing is, if you don't want to make that commitment, that is okay. But you know how it is, guys. It's just life. What you put in, you get out. Okay. So I want you to know, I'm here. Come. I want you to know, guys, that it's very possible, but it is a lot of work. So not trying to discourage you, but I know that most of you don't like when you don't see the grade that you want, but this is not, it's a lot of precision. It really takes, you have to be a lot more precise, guys. And I'm very aware that the high school system just makes you do whatever you want to do. You know why? Because it's easier that way. It's easier that way. It's easier to not say to a student, you need to change this. It's much easier. So if you've never heard it before, so I also want to let you guys know that we have a marker. I'm the second backup marker now, okay? So we have a marker, the dean gave me that. Thank you, Manuela. So we have a marker who is marking your work. When she marks them, I do the second mark to make sure that it's okay, and then you'll get your grade. So you'll get your cover letters back by Tuesday the latest, because she just emailed me to say she's finished marking. Okay. And you know what I like about that, guys? The only thing I do is if I think it's too low, I raise the grade a bit more. But so all the comments are from her. So, because guys, I'm kind of nervous with this group, okay? So I'm glad I'm not doing the marking. A true born Canadian is doing the marking. I'm just vetting it in the end. So I'm just putting that out there, guys. I thank my dean for that, because that's not something we get normally, a marker, but this is a special case. So I'm happy about that. So by Tuesday, the latest, guys, you'll definitely have your, I wish it was a little bit earlier, but so just so you know, putting it out there. So guys, I think we're done. Is there anybody else who wanted to add or ask something? I think we're done. Anastasia, I haven't heard from you. Did you want to share or were you just listening? That's okay. Either one is okay.
Yeah, I'm still just even trying to pick out my topics. So I was mostly just listening.
Is there anything do you have a few in mind? You want to run a few by me?
Yeah, I have a few. I mean, a couple had to kind of get canceled throughout the conversation. I realized I couldn't,
Okay, what's your topic? What's your topic?
Well, I wanted to talk about solo traveling, but I'm of course a little afraid it might be overdone.
Well, Anastasia, it's up to you. Once again, remember, if you don't mind as average speech, then that is okay. So don't think it, I'm not trying to tell anyone not to do any speech. I'm just saying the rigor and depth of the content is going to determine the grade. You can still do a decent speech with solo traveling, but it probably won't be more than say 6 out of 10. Are you okay with 6 out of 10, Anastasia?
No.
Okay. Okay, let us think about it. Anybody else on the call? Oops, only Benjamin. What angle do you think, Anastasia? Okay, tell me something else you have. You have another one?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd like to run by the one I originally wanted to do.
Okay.
My problem I ran into is how can I make myself a credible source to discuss it? So I wanted to discuss the importance of the lymphatic system. Yes, it is a
Okay,
health and fitness topic.
Why did you choose that topic?
Because there's a few really simple but kind of cool, fascinating ways to actually improve your lymphatic system. And a lot of people, I think pretty much most people I've ever talked to, especially my age and younger, I guess, have no clue about any of it. And I kind of had like
okay, hold on now. How did you, what brought about this interest for you?
I've always been interested in anything to do with physical or mental self-improvement.
The reason I'm asking, is that I think you could make that novel if you could start with a story that ties it to your life, where we could understand why you are interested in it. And this is something that you can make very relevant to everybody, because I don't even know what you're talking about right now. I mean, I know the word.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that would be relevant to anybody. What I don't want is a textbook telling us what we can find on the internet. But if you can make it yours and help us to see how it could help us, I think that would be, you know what? I forgot to tell Benjamin, and I hope, Benjamin, are you still there?
I believe I saw him leave. I think it's just me. Yeah, it's just me and you.
I once heard a student talk about budgeting. It was so simple, but so profound. Because all he was doing was telling us how he budgets and when he wrote, and he used a whiteboard as his only visual aid. And he just kept, and even when he wrote partying, like 150 per week, and it was so relevant. But it was just budgeting. But it was a relevant topic that he spoke about from his life. And anytime you take it from your life, it makes a huge difference.
Well, and that was the thing, like, I feel like I have the story portion that could be pretty fun and engaging, but my problem is credibility. I mean, I am not a doctor or a nurse.
Yes, but
so
but you've cared about this for all your life, right?
Yeah.
That's one bit. 2, have you ever done any reading or research?
Oh yeah.
That's 2.
Yeah.
3, you've seen the impact on your life?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're done.
Okay.
That's credibility.
Okay.
No, if you were going to talk about like surgery, I would say back off, Anastasia. You are not a surgeon. You just told me that this is about, you've always been interested in it, and it will be fascinating for us because it can be blah, blah, blah. So obviously, you know that because of your reading. No, we don't want to use the word reading. We just want to say research, because research sounds better. But if you read and you're finding information and you're learning from it and you're applying it to your life, that makes you credible. But you you are credible. So I think is that something you'd want to write about for the report also? Or no, it can't be for the report. No, it can't be.
Yeah.
What's for the report?
I was thinking to do the power of to-do lists, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand.
Anastasia, let me get your core sentence before we say yes. Let me get the core sentence.
I definitely don't have a core sentence. I'm sorry.
So that's the thing. It will help you to decide if it will even work, because you have to be able to start with a core sentence. And the core sentence is going to dictate what you write about in the report. Anastasia, I wish you could hear the voices that I'm hearing in my mind. The echo, I had to put the headphone in, because if I left, you guys would be hearing what I'm hearing, because now I understand what people mean when they say they hear voices. For the last over 2 hours, I've been hearing voices. Seriously, voices.
Yeah.
So you think you're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know I'm a little behind, but I emailed you.
Anastasia, no need. No, we don't have to talk about it online, because we're good. We're good.
Okay.
We're good. So is there anything else I can always stop streaming now if you need to talk to me privately, or I'll just go. What do you want? Is there anything you want to talk about privately? I can easily stop. Anastasia?
Oops, I pressed the mute right as I started responding. I said, yeah, just a couple of quick minutes if we can go off.
Okay, so let me just end. What did you said yes, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so guys, whoever is still out there, thank you for joining us. I hope this helped. And I hope when you rethink the oral presentation, you will remember the most important thing that you must remember is that for your oral presentation to have some kind of impact and for it to have a good enough speech, a good enough grade, you definitely want to start with looking at the criteria for the A speech, the B speech, and the C speech. If you're in my public speaking class, you'll see there, you'll see the PDF file there. And if you're in my current business writing class, if you look on the left, if you click on the oral presentation assignment and you scroll down to the left, there's a link that says criteria for the A, B, and C speech. Once you look there, you'll see, and I'm not, guys, there isn't even enough time for me to be answering email about, is this a good topic? Is this a bad topic? It's up to you. It's your choice. But I think, especially after just talking to Anastasia, I think you have a better idea of, just ask yourself, do people know about this? Is this something that every other person knows about? Like COVID, is it something everybody knows about? And once you, and I don't want you doing anything that my students last semester did, because I don't want anybody exchanging information. I did say that. I said that on the wrap-up video. Anything that I mentioned in the wrap-up video as those topics that my students did last semester, I don't want to hear them this year. And I said things like habit formation, flow. I don't remember where they are. I gave sleep issues, nap rooms, customers, social media distractions at work, emotional intelligence and productivity. I don't want any of those topics. Why? Because we have to be very mindful of the integrity of our department. And if students did it last year, we don't want it this year. I mean, last semester, I had all of these last semester. I don't want it this semester. So listen back to, I said it in the video from Sunday. I don't want anything that you guys have heard about and you know a lot about because you had a friend who did it. We don't want any of those. So thank you for joining us, and I'm about to end now, so talk to you soon. So Anastasia, let's see now. Okay, Anastasia, I'm going to end this and you leave, and then I'm going to start again, start a new one, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but I'm just going to end this because I have to end. So you end and I end, okay?
Okay.
So
all right.
Stop recording. You receive an email when it is, so stop recording and then end.